BYD's car registrations in Germany are up more than 200% in March. Tesla sales are down. I think it's pretty clear what's happening in Europe. And the scary part about all of this is that BYD is planning a model onslaught on Europe. They're planning to bring in some of their plug-in hybrids, which could be a huge sales success. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to have you with us. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. What's happening in Germany? Well, here's the thing. Germany's largest automotive industry publication has reported today that Germany's new car market is actually in crisis. They say in the first 3 months of the year, 665,000 new cars were registered, which is a decline of 4.3% compared to the previous year. In March, the decline was 4%. This is according to the latest figures. This also reveals the first winners and losers of the year in Germany. And at the forefront, Chinese brand BYD, which more than tripled its sales. This is, of course, starting from a low base, but you've got to start from somewhere. BYD has a high number of dealer approvals. And with 1,225 new registrations, BYD ranks ahead of Subaru, Lexus, and Polestar for the entirety of the first quarter in Germany. MG, another Chinese manufacturer, also saw its sales increase by more than 20% in the first 3 months. MG has been around in Germany for much, much longer than BYD. And to be honest, a lot of people in Germany still think MG is actually a British car brand. The trend is continuing. Sales of Chinese brands in Germany increased in February. Other winners include Renault with a 44.7% increase and Seat Cupra with 21.5%. But as you can see here, the biggest winner is BYD with a rise in sales in Germany of 212%. MG up 24%, Tesla down 62%, Smart down 74%, Mitsubishi down 50%, and Porsche down a staggering 35%. However, Toyota is struggling in China. It's also struggling in Germany, where its sales are down 16% in the first 3 months of the year. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. BYD is going to crush Toyota. It's going to take it a few years to get there, but it is absolutely inevitable. Let me know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know what you think in the comments. On the 16th of January, Reuters revealed that car plants in North America, the United States, potentially Canada as well, plus particularly in Germany and in Europe, will close this year in 2025. However, it was also revealed within the last few hours that the Volkswagen Group have agreed to Chinese companies taking over their factories in Germany. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, you'll be able to see videos, including my health and exercise routine, a bit more about myself, and also some insider videos as well. I'll put a link in the description below. Volkswagen says it is prepared to hand its factories over to Chinese automakers, which is not what I think anyone in Germany was expecting to hear. Now, the reason for this is because Germany's automotive industry is struck by a downturn, a terminal downturn, which is not going to be reversed ever, I don't believe. Executives at the car-making titan have signaled they would be open to tie-ups with Chinese rivals to use up the excess capacity in their factories as they scale back production. Basically, Volkswagen's looking for any way to make a buck. They need money. They have more than $200 billion in debt. Gernot Dollner, chief executive of Volkswagen's Audi brand, told the Financial Times that deals with electric car companies would lower the entrance barrier of these competitors, saying, for sure, that is thinkable. Okay, it's a done deal. Sorry, but that's basically what they're saying. David Powles, chief financial officer at Volkswagen's eponymous Volkswagen brand, told the newspaper this: "We're open for any discussions on any topic with any partner in a dynamic world. you have to keep all options open, especially when you have no other choice financially. That's the situation that the Volkswagen Group are in. The chief financial officer says they're in a dire situation. It comes after Volkswagen last month abandoned plans to close its German factories because it couldn't. The German union said, no, you're not closing them. But you can fire 35,000 people, that's okay. So they bowed to pressure from unions to keep the factories open, and that makes these factories even more efficient than ever before. Production at these factories is around 40 to 50% of their capacity, meaning they're incredibly inefficient. The business had argued, or Volkswagen had argued, that its factories were built to supply a European car market where it was selling 16 million vehicles every year, but that there was now only demand for around 14 million cars. This means it does not need several of its factories and probably won't need any of them in 10 years' time. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But that's what I think is likely to happen. They might keep a couple. Maybe they'll make Porsches still in Germany. But other than that, I just don't see how it makes financial possible sense for them. They have to compete against China. They have to, even the United States makes cars at a much lower price than Germany does. Volkswagen actually did drop plans to close the sites after agreeing to a deal with unions to axe bonus payments. We're talking 300 million euros in bonus payments to executives, and reduce staff by more than 35,000 between now and 2030. So it's scaling back production at these inefficient factories even more. So in other words, these factories are going to be even more inefficient than they already are today. At the time, Volkswagen said the deal would help it to make more than 15 billion euros. That's about 16 billion US dollars in savings. The signs that German car makers are weighing up deals to use up excess space in their factories come as they battle fierce competition from Chinese EV manufacturers and just Chinese brands as well, which have been flooding Europe with cheaper vehicles. But they're not just flooding Europe, they're flooding Australia, they're flooding Thailand, they're flooding Indonesia, Southeast Asia, Malaysia, all these markets where the Volkswagen Group sells vehicles. They're selling vehicles to those markets. And of course, they're taking market share from German car brands in China, which is actually even more important than taking market share from them in Europe, because the Chinese car market is much bigger than the European car market. In fact, it's more than double the size. More than double. 31 million cars were sold in China last year, whereas in Europe, less than 15 million were sold. The EU brought in tariffs on imports of Chinese electric vehicles last year amid claims that Beijing was handing companies unfair subsidies, which let the country's manufacturers undercut Europe's industry. Now, it was actually disclosed, or discovered, I should say, by the European Union, that Tesla gets zero subsidies from the Chinese government. It's making nothing. BYD gets small subsidies, they claim, whereas state-backed or state-owned companies like MG get big subsidies.